All right, we are live on the air, and I'm excited to welcome you all to the very first Zappos ZapChat with our technical team. We are here today with, from the left, who I can see anyway, is Althea Dunn, Dave Stevens, Jennifer Van Orman, then we've got Ron Shaw, and last but not least, Susan Achap. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Hi, Susan. Okay, cool, guys. Well, let's kick things off today. We're going to have 30 minutes of chat time with the questions that we've already sent out to everyone. And followed after that, we are going to have 15 minutes of live Q&A. And everyone can either tweet us at Inside Zappos or use the hashtag Inside Zappos, or they can just use the chat feature here. So let's go ahead and jump right in by having everyone start off with a quick introduction. We'll start with Althea, and tell us first off, hold on a second. Guys, try this. It's kind of loud when you move things around and stuff. Just be aware that it makes things a little noisy for everybody. But we're going to start with Althea. Tell us your name, your role at Zappos, and a quick recap of kind of how you got here to Zappos. Try to do all that in 30 seconds or less. Ready, go.
All right. So Althea Dunn, I've been here for 10 whopping months, and I'm the tech recruiter here. And I came to Zappos. I've known about Zappos for about 12 years, but just came here from San Francisco.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Mr. Dave Stevens.
Hey, mobile web development manager. I've been here for 4.5 years. Grew up in England, moved to New York, and moved here. And best thing I ever did.
Awesome. Hey, by the way, also tell us which room you're in. I guess each of you are in a different conference room at Zappos. Althea, real quick, we'll go back to you real quick for that one piece. Which conference room are you in?
Yeah, I'm on the first floor, and I am in a spaceship themed room, so I feel like I'm kind of in outer space right now. As you can see, kind of there's some planets and mission control behind me, so very space age.
Awesome. All right, Dave, tell us about your room. I think you might win the prize for the most dangerous room anyway.
Bear in mind, I didn't choose this room. Someone did it for me. I'm in a ball pit. So I nearly died on the way in. So if this is the last anyone sees of me, that's why.
There might be someone hidden in the ball pit too.
Yeah, someone else who twisted an ankle on the way in. All right, next we have Jen Van Orman. Hi, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen Van Orman. I'm originally from Salt Lake, and I am the senior software engineer and technical lead for Cart and Checkout. In a previous life, I worked in bioinformatics, and then I moved to e-commerce, and I'm here at Zappos. Again, best thing I ever did. I am in the cool running room, so here's a little tour. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Next, we have Mr. Ron Shaw. Ron, tell us a little bit about your background, your story.
Yeah, my name's Ron. Well, first the room that I'm in, I think it's a rainbow bright room maybe. So me and her and a pony thing are just kind of hanging out, so that's fun. I used to work in finance, which was a bit boring, and so came to Zappos, a lot more fun. Before that, I lived in Japan for a while, just like in the business realm. But yeah, enjoying what I do now. And sorry, I forgot to introduce what I do. Currently the senior manager for our web analytics team in tech.
Fabulous. Yes, I love how we matched up the personalities to the rooms perfectly. You're definitely a closet rainbow bright fan, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an extremely bright and just generally happy individual. So I like.
Fabulous. All right, wonderful. Susan, tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I manage the project management and quality assurance groups here at Zappos. I've been here for just over 7 years. And while I'm at it, I'm in the Adventure Time, I think. Is that what it's called, Jen?
Adventure Time.
Yeah, some cartoon. I don't watch it, but it's pretty cute. He's got his arm around me. So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and then moved down to San Diego for about 8 years and have been here for about 8 years as well.
And before Zappos, I worked at a software company that did e-forms, business process flows, and OCR. So.
Very cool. Speaking of San Diego, that's where I am right this minute. I'm working from my boring home with in the hallway here, which does not have any theme whatsoever. In fact, it probably is a sign I need to get on that. But my name is Stacey Zapar. I noticed I didn't introduce myself at the beginning of the call. I work as part of the Zappos recruiting team, and this is the very first time we've done a Google Hangout for Zappos, or even if I've never even done one myself. So this is super fun. Awesome. Well, let's go on to our next question. In 3 words or less, how would you describe working for Zappos Tech? Althea, start us off.
Let's see. I'd say empowering, chaotic, but like a good chaotic, and always changing.
I'd say fun, definitely challenging, and fresh, meaning not fresh as in like 80s cool, but fresh like there's always something new going on, some new project, new idea, new strategy, new culture event. So
awesome.
Let's say, oh, sorry, go ahead. No, it's all you.
So in 3 words, I would say lead by example.
Oh.
Ooh, I like it. She thought about that one. I like it. I like it.
All right, I'm going to use 5 words. Friendly, interesting, a little crazy.
Nice.
I'll probably go with rewarding, because you always get something out of what you do. Challenging, because it can be, and enjoyable, to end on a positive note.
Not always in that order, right? No.
Right.
Since you guys joined Zappos Tech some time ago anyway, how has Zappos grown you, whether that's professionally or personally or both? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take that one. So I actually started as an analyst, coming from a consultant role prior to this. I did a lot of different types of stuff. I did development, I did training, I did analysis, project management, the whole gamut for a software company. I came here and was considering going back into a full development role, but just didn't quite cut the mustard there. But I became an analyst, which was a new role here, and it's been a lot of fun. It's kind of paving your own way, but I did analyst and then became manager of that team, then manager of project management, and then they just keep adding teams to your doc. So I've grown a lot in terms of what I've learned. Management is a whole new realm. I think also professionally, I have learned a lot about the fact that a development path you can use that in many different ways instead of just development. And I think Zappos has definitely shown me that I think some of my strongest skills can come from, or strongest assets can come from my development paths, but not necessarily keeping up with the latest technologies, but just that way of thinking. And then personally, I've grown here at Zappos in a number of different ways. Communication I found to be very important. Emotional intelligence is something that we're focusing on a lot now in tech and building out those skills. Patience, at times you gotta kind of hang back and be patient. And then on the family side of things, since I've started here, I've had 3 kids, so it's been a busy 7 years. Yeah, so that's kind of my story of how I've grown.
Awesome. Who else wants to jump in and take that one? Since you've joined Zappos, how has the company grown you professionally or personally or both?
Yeah, like I'll jump in there. Kind of. Oh, Jen, I swear, you and I are just not on the same page. Well, I was going to jump in. Okay, all right, fine. I was going to jump in because kind of similar to Susan, I joined as an analyst several years ago. Joined the company just over 3 years ago, and I came from a finance background. And in that realm, it was a lot of like kind of traditional business intelligence, a lot of like working on Excel worksheets a lot. But then I started getting into like SEO management, paid campaigns, like the company that I worked for originated loans online. So how we brought people into our digital experience was pretty important. But I found out that I liked that a lot more than just the traditional finance realm. So coming into Zappos, joined as an analyst, then kind of like transitioned from just your BI and Excel, like working to like querying in Oracle databases, using SQL, kind of like learning SAS, which I hadn't previously been exposed to before coming in here, and then now I'm managing the team that I previously joined. And I'm currently focused on, like reforming the entire architecture that we use for our analytics at the company. So it's been a really great journey for me professionally, kind of like joining as an analyst, just working on, like kind of like finite environments to now kind of leading a new way for what we're doing. We recently went out and, visited the LinkedIn group, like talked to their data science folks and, talked about like, how to design effective architectures for analysis. And it's been really, really great.
Fabulous. Jen.
Okay. Hi. I think I've grown the most since being at Zappos. Zappos has taught me to fail responsibly and take calculated risks. And both professionally and personally, it was scary for me to move here. It was scary for me to start a job where I didn't know anybody. But it's been great. I've been here for 5.5 years now, and I didn't know anybody coming in. They welcomed me with open arms. They taught me a whole bunch of stuff, and they let me fail responsibly and learn from my mistakes. So that's the biggest thing I take away from Zappos. Also, to touch on Susan's point of emotional intelligence, a lot of times developers have egos, and we have divas, and there's a lot of infighting. We don't have that here. We're all respectful of each other, and we listen to each other, and it's okay to be wrong here, which is refreshing after having worked in so many development environments where it's not like that. So.
And sorry, I'm going to jump back in if you don't mind. One thing that I think, a theme that I see not only in the people on this panel, but the people that are around me in tech on a daily basis is Zappos really does try to hone in on what you're good at and push you in directions you may not have gone naturally. You'll be pulled into challenges that maybe you don't think you're ready for, but people around you do, and they'll support you to be able to do that. So it's not only about the fact that Zappos has the opportunities for you to follow your passions. Sometimes it pushes you to find your passions that you didn't know you had. So I think that's one thing. It's definitely made me step outside of my comfort zone in a lot of ways professionally, and because of that, I've grown a ton. And Zappos is very, very good at finding things that they think you can be successful at and kind of pushing you in that direction to challenge yourself.
And
That's a great
on
point,
the flip
Susan.
side, only being here 10 months, I could say, that dark. Her light went out. I was going to say, only being here 10 months, you would think, has Zappos been able to grow me professionally in a short amount of time? And I would say that it's very much like Susan said, I have grown and been empowered more in the 10 months that I've been here than I have in any other role that I've had professionally in the last 8 years. So that's really exciting to know. Even when you're new and you've only been here a short amount of time, you will be growing by leaps and bounds.
Fabulous. I can speak to that as well. I don't work in Zappos Tech, obviously, but before I started at Zappos, I did not ever do any of the things that I do all day long at Zappos, not once in my life. The whole Zappos Insider program, all this fun like employer branding stuff and all this social recruiting stuff, this is stuff I've never done before, and now this is what we get to do every day at Zappos, and it's crazy exciting. So anyway, not to take it off tech, but I absolutely echo that same sentiment. Like, you can do this, and everyone believes in you. So, all right, somebody has an appointment in 15 minutes. So. Anyway, but I definitely will echo that sentiment. Okay, next. What is the coolest, most awesome thing that you have built, coded, developed from a tech perspective, obviously, since joining Zappos along the way? Built, created, coded, developed, you name it. Let's hear about it. Let's get our geek on, our tech on, and really talk tech.
Rowan, may I go?
Oh yeah, you can totally go. Don't step in all over your toes. Yeah, so please,
I'm going to take this one.
the most exciting thing that I've worked on since I've been at Zappos is the introduction of pictures on e-gift certificates. And although that doesn't sound very exciting, it was a design challenge, and it involved a lot of different teams. And all the teams came together, the product team, the development team, you know, project management, everybody came together on this idea and said, yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but let's do it. And the whole focus was to make our customers happy. And it was the greatest experience. It didn't take as long as we thought originally, which was great, but that's because all the teams were on board and willing to work out, you know, all the nitty-gritty details. So that was my favorite.
Very cool, very cool. Tell us a little bit, like, what did that entail? Like, you told us about the journey. What was there were photos or something on the gift certificates or something? Explain what that was a little bit more detail. I think that sounds interesting.
So when we originally launched the e-gift certificates, it was just, hey, here's a picture of a Zappos logo, and here's the amount, and here you go in your email. We wanted to expand to happy birthday and happy anniversary and all that other good stuff, and seasonal designs and things like that. And we just didn't have the infrastructure to do it.
Got it.
So it took a lot of different teams, especially, you know, our catalog team, who had to do a lot of work with all the designs and all of the inventory that we had to deal with. And so it was a pretty big deal, but it was awesome.
Yay, awesome. Very cool. Who else wants to talk about something very cool that you got to work on since you joined?
I'll jump in. Actually, I've worked on a lot of cool stuff. This is a hard question to answer because I've enjoyed a lot of really cool projects since I've been here, but the one that I've enjoyed the most is one I'm actually doing right now, collaborating with Roan's team to get the business data that we have. We have this huge amount of information kind of in the analytics team. We're actually building an API internally to give access to that data to a lot of people, and that means I get to use some of my favorite things like Node.js and Happy, a really cool framework for Node, and we get to use Amazon's Redshift, which is pretty cool because it's very new and everything else. So getting to kind of dive in and do what I would say is the closest thing to my perfect project, because it's fun from a coding standpoint. I get to build something from scratch, all the things that engineers love to do. But once we get the other side of it and it's out there, it's actually going to solve a real need. So you kind of get like an instant gratification from the project as well. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'd say that's the one I'd choose.
Awesome. I understood about 3/4 of that being a non-techie, but I'm sure everyone listening to the call they were totally salivating at whatever that was that you said in totality there, Dave. I love it. That's cool. Well, good. Obviously, a lot of you guys came from somewhere else, and a lot of people that are thinking about joining Zappos don't already live in Las Vegas. And a lot of people, when they think about Las Vegas, they think of the Strip, and they think of gambling and casinos and neon and blinking lights and all that. But obviously we're downtown, and that's a whole different scene. You know, my first trip to downtown this past spring, it reminded me a lot of Austin when I went there for South by Southwest. A very different vibe. So for those people that are watching today and haven't been to downtown Vegas or don't really know what to expect, and they're not so sure that they can kind of pick up and move someplace new, who wants to tell us a little bit about kind of what it was like to move here from somewhere else, and what do you like best about living and working in downtown Vegas or wherever it is that you happen to live around here?
So I'll go first if you guys don't mind. So I moved from San Diego, like I said, about 8.5 years ago. Started at Zappos 7.5 years ago. So unlike a lot of people here who moved to join Zappos, I actually moved to Las Vegas to buy a home. My husband and I had just gotten married, and we wanted to buy a home. San Diego was not the place that we could get what we wanted, and we wanted to try something new. So we came out to Las Vegas, shopped around, found some really cool neighborhoods. We live in Henderson, which is kind of a suburb of Las Vegas. So I have about a 20-minute drive to work, usually no traffic. But we love it there. I know it's going to sound odd to a lot of people. I love the heat. I I actually really enjoy the climate of Las Vegas because you do have winters that are cold, but they aren't that chilling cold. You put on a jacket, you're good to go. And the summers I love. I love that you know it's going to be hot out. You don't have to plan what you're going to wear for the day because you know it's going to be hot, and so you choose ahead of time and can do that. But I also like Las Vegas. It's been a great place to start raising our 3 kids. So I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And we have a ton of activities to do. There's a lot of parks in Henderson. We have 2 of our kids in soccer, and we coach soccer down there in some of the kids groups. And then also another cool thing that I like about Vegas personally is date night. So my husband and I going out on date nights. You can do your normal movie and a dinner, but then if you want to do a fancy dinner or a show, you can do that too, and kind of act like a tourist for a night, which is really fun. So we've actually really enjoyed it here. The bars and stuff are cool, and I'd say about 7 years ago, pre-kids, I definitely took advantage of all of the cool spots to hang out, and my friends were always coming in town, and we'd spend weekends out on the strip or wherever. But since my weekends are a little, I guess, more boring to some people, we do the suburb thing and like that, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of family-friendly places in Henderson that we enjoy going to. So.
Total suburbia life, it sounds like, but the best of all worlds within a 15-minute drive. So
yeah, my biggest thing is San Diego. The traffic started to get to me wherever you go, and then prior to that, I lived in the Bay Area, which is even a little worse. So definitely in Vegas, you will hit some traffic occasionally, but across the board, it's nothing compared to where I used to live. So
I'm actually getting jealous right now. Go ahead, Althea.
And speaking of the Bay Area, I just relocated from San Francisco 10 months ago. So if you told me I was going to relocate to Las Vegas, a year or 2 ago, I would have said you were crazy. But moved out here for the job, but really was hesitant a little bit. San Francisco and growing up in Napa, rich culture, amazing outdoor activities, music, food, art, culture. I was surrounded by that and didn't know if I could get that here outside of the Strip. And you can. So I'm a huge hiker. I'm a huge yogi. I love my organic juice bars. So there's wonderful hiking at Red Rock and Mount Charleston. There's tons of great yoga studios. There's lots of cool little food places off the Strip that are almost better than what you find on the Strip. I have a 5-minute bike ride to work. I don't have a family, but I have a quick little bike ride to work. I had a 45-minute bus ride, and now I have a 5-minute bike ride, which is great with that mild weather year-round. And, I've been really surprised and impressed that, all of that stuff I had in San Francisco, I actually discovered and found here. And there's a really great community downtown of other people that have made that same journey, and I've made really fast friends that way, inside and outside of Zappos.
Very cool. Any other transplants want to tell their story?
Well, actually, I'll jump in there. I'm kind of non-transplant. I was already in Vegas before joining Zappos, and I've kind of had an off-on relationship with Vegas. I went to junior high and high school here, and then left to go to college, and then worked in a few other places, and then somehow it sucked me back in. I don't know why. And I was never really planning on coming here, and then for a long time I was kind of fighting almost living here. But then over the last few years, something really great started to happen around a lot of different areas in Las Vegas. Althea mentioned some restaurants, off of the Strip that are really good. It kind of seems like people have been in Las Vegas long enough that they've started to form really strong communities. And so you get places where people have put in a lot of care and they've been there for a little while now, which hasn't been the case before. So you get a lot more, just nice personal feeling. I live in the Henderson area just like Susan, and it's just a really comfortable place to be now. The other thing that I realize now that Vegas allows me to do is travel around a lot, visiting, my wife and I went to Peru a few months ago, traveling over to California and up to Washington, just have a little bit more mobility and freedom to travel more just because it's a little bit cheaper to live here. So it's kind of nice.
Plus, I think there's like 8 million nonstop flights to Vegas from everywhere all the time.
Exactly.
It must be an easy place to fly in and out of, like on a whim.
You can get anywhere that you want really quickly. And driving to places is pretty close too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's true. You're kind of more central. You know, I'm all the way in the bottom corner of the country. You know, anywhere I want to go is going to be far. Just without answering personally, Ronan and Susan, you know, we don't want to get too specific, but I'm just curious. You know, I live in San Diego, as I said, and it's not cheap to live here. You know, what if you wanted to buy like a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house, like 2,500 square feet in Henderson? Like, roughly, what would that cost roughly?
It ranges. I mean, I'd say anywhere from what, around 250, 300, and up.
Yeah, I was thinking like 250, probably, depending.
So a funny story about that actually. So I, coming from San Diego, one of the reasons, like I said, my husband and I moved out here. We went house hunting, and we were newlyweds at the time in San Diego, and we were inland, so inland Carlsbad, so San Marcos area, and we were looking at homes for. You know, a 2-3 bedroom, ideally 3-bedroom, and started looking, and we were looking at $800-900 million homes. And I said, do you have anything cheaper in this area? And they're going, oh, you're looking for our lower income. And I said, well, you know, I don't think it's really lower income there. You know, like under $1 million, I wouldn't necessarily qualify. So that kind of put it in perspective for us, where it's like, you know, you can find great places in San Diego, and it is a great place to live, but am I going to get what I need to grow a family that I want to grow personally? So for us, it was just a right decision for us, and we have a place that we feel comfortable in, a suburban area that we like, and so.
Yeah, I heard about the rents in San Francisco. I was just reading an article the other day. It was like 600 square feet is like $3,000 something now or something. You know, it's like pretty mind-boggling. So
I was going to say the
people
rent.
want that big city thing, and that's good, and that works for them.
I was just curious. I honestly didn't know the answer to that question when I asked it just now. So I really was curious. It's about a quarter of what a house like that would cost where I live. So a quarter. That's again, I'm getting a little jealous here. All right, maybe I need to have a conversation with my boss about. All right, Dave, I know just from your accent, it doesn't sound like you were born and raised in Vegas. Do you want to say something before we move on to the last question, or should we just go on?
Yeah, you spotted the Arkansas accent straight away. I grew up in England, so I spent 24 years quite damp, very grey. So the thing about the summer, like the weather, was something that Susan mentioned that I think is a good point. People come out here on vacation and in the middle of the summer, and they think, this is, how can you live here? This is so hot. But first of all, you know, in a lot of places here in the US, you have 3 months of the winter where you can't go outside because you're buried in snow or rain or anything else. Here it's 3 months of like really hot sun, which is a little bit easier to deal with because you just dress appropriately and stick close to air conditioning. The other thing is that you do get used to it, and if I can say that, then anyone can. I like still my family, when I talk on Skype or anything like that, they'll say, "What's that thing behind you? That big bright thing in the sky?" And I'm like, "Well, that's the sun, guys," you know. But regardless, you do get used to it. The first summer I got here, I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. I'm out. And then the second summer, we carried on playing soccer through that time outdoors. So you adapt, you know. The other thing I would say on this note is, whatever you think about Vegas, cool, it's not that. No one that doesn't live here has ever given me an accurate viewpoint of Vegas. So it's crazy on the Strip. That's very true. But it's a bit like saying, I'm never moving to Southern California because have you seen Disneyland? That's cool. Like,
very true.
You don't go to Disneyland every day, do you? You know, if you want to go to Disneyland for that experience, you go there. Same here. I go to the Strip maybe like once, twice a year, if that. The rest of the time, it's just a really nice. What was your turn? I wonder if my light's going to go out. That'd be exciting. Yeah. So you have this whole. There's like 4 quadrants of Vegas, and then the Strip in the center, and each of those 5 things are completely different. And you can pick whichever one works for you. I choose to live downtown. I live 2 blocks from the office, and I can walk everywhere, which I love. I can have a walk to get groceries. They've just opened a grocery store down there. I don't have to drive very often anymore, which is good for me. And the other thing I like is I grew up somewhere with a lot of history, so a lot of parts of Vegas are very, it seems like they implode everything every 2 years and rebuild it to be all fancy and modern. And I don't really like that. I like something with a bit of character. So downtown's cool. There's like stuff from the 40s and casinos that were built by like Bugsy Siegel and stuff like that. So yeah, there's something for everyone. A lot of people like the suburbs, and you can have that, and you can have the Stacey referenced Austin when she talks about downtown. That's probably the closest I've seen to the feel down here. But yeah, whatever your preconceptions about Vegas are, forget them all.
I might have to move to Vegas just for the Thai. The food is downtown is pretty darn good. There's some pretty good restaurants there. Well, cool. By the way, Ron, glad to see you're back. I see your rainbow room a minute ago was not so bright. Haha, no pun intended. Okay, guys. Last question that's on the list here, and then we're going to open it up to live questions from the audience. What is something? This is a question that, you know, as obviously one of our core values is be a little we're a little bit quirky and weird, and we're okay with it. So to tie that in and wrap things up today and kind of weave in a little bit of that Zappos culture, what is something weird that makes you happy? Althea, start us off.
Random dance parties in the office.
Cool. Dave.
Your turn, Steve.
Oh, mine. Sorry. So ugly old design. Like if you look at any building built in my home country in the 70s or 80s, or any vehicle that was built in that time, just ugly and horrible. But I like that. So.
Cool. Jen.
I would have to say the portrait of Alice Cooper that I have tattooed on my back.
Wow. That is weird. That's very, but also very cool.
It makes me happy.
Yay, that's the whole point. Ron.
You know, I looked at this question and I was like, everything that I like that makes me happy isn't weird because I'm normal, so whatever. But if I had a gun to my head, I might have to say, well, Rainbow Bright, obviously. I would say Grumpy Cat, just because people have called me Grumpy Cat, because apparently my face doesn't look happy normally, and I always look sad. But I'm actually always happy, though I empathize with that creature. I know how he feels, or she feels. I don't even know who it is. I'm going to stop talking now.
Maybe your lack of weirdness is what's weird about you or something. I don't know. There's something there.
It's so normal, it's weird, yeah.
Awesome. Susan.
So I doubt this makes me weird. I'm sure everybody likes this, but like clean sheets. I obsessively love having very, very clean sheets that I can get into. And then I guess another thing would be, I don't know if this is something I like, but it kind of makes me weird, is I really don't like black socks and like bare legs. It really creeps me out. I don't know what it is. I like picture Florida and like a lot of pulled up high up and creeps me out.
There's a mental image that I cannot get out of my head now.
See?
Awesome. Thank you guys for opening up to all of us about your stories and your weirdness and your tech things that make you happy, and your journey and what you do in your off time, etc. Let's see if we have any questions. I'm going to peek real quick and see if there's anything in the Q&A. Give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. Here's a question. Click the select button to answer a question. Okay, here we go. How does Zappos culture play a part in your career satisfaction? Laurie Dank wants to know this one. Who wants to take it? We'll have one person answer each of these. We have quite a few lined up here, so who wants to hop in?
I'll take that one. Yeah, so culture-wise, how does it play? Wait, can you repeat it? How does it play a part in me being happy?
How does Zappos culture play a part in your career satisfaction? So it's not just the professional environment; it's also the work environment, the culture, the people, all that fun stuff, the core values, everything.
So I think I alluded to it earlier. You know, a lot of people, when they look at our culture, they think of fun, zany, weird, but it's so much more than that. Jen had mentioned it earlier. It's really the respect for other people around you, respecting their abilities, respecting their qualities, and giving them the benefit of the doubt in terms of having some empathy for what's going on in their life, creating those personal connections here at Zappos for both professional and personal reasons. I think they play off of each other. I don't think you can draw a line between professional and personal anymore because so much of personal affects professional and vice versa, that I think, to me, the culture is really about supporting each other, pushing each other, challenging each other, and making each other smarter. And so I know that a lot of things from the outside can look like we focus on fun and that's our culture and that's what we're all about. But it's a lot deeper than that, and it's really about the quality of people beneath kind of some of that material stuff, the fun stuff and the zany stuff. So that's what does it for me. Is I think the culture, it just fits me. I like that sort of respect for the people that you work with. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, our next question. This is from Nathan Jessen. What do you look for in a new hire or team member?
So I'll take this one. The biggest thing that I look for when I'm interviewing people for the team is somebody who's willing to make mistakes and try things and be responsible about it. Of course, programming skills are necessary, but that's not the first thing I look for. I look for somebody who's willing to try things and make things better and not be afraid to speak up about what they feel.
Anyone else want to take that one? Obviously, this hangout is geared toward the folks that might want to work here. What else do you guys look for in a new hire or team member? Anyone else want to pop in?
For me, I think because it's kind of against PM and QA nature is flexibility. I think if you can't be flexible, you're not going to survive here, and that's something that's difficult to find in project managers and QA a lot of times. So.
Cool. Althea, do you want to take this from a recruiting perspective?
Yeah, I'd say comfortable with change. There's so much change that happens here at Zappos, and so hearing about past experiences and past jobs where you are comfortable with a lot of change is something, and you can roll with it, I think is very important here.
Awesome. Yeah, and if anyone else wants to take a look, go to our website, go to jobs.zappos.com and take a peek at the Life at Zappos page. At the very top of the Life at Zappos page, we have our 10 core values listed there, and that's not by accident. That kind of is what everything that we do and who we are, and it shapes everything. So take a look at those 10 core values, see if they speak to you. I bet you that that if there's a lot of overlap there, that your chances of clicking with the people you're interviewing with go up much higher. Those core values are not just lip service at Zappos. So cool. Here's a question from Kevin, who says, sorry, let me see if I can get the whole question here. What would your advice be for someone who has been a full stack developer for their career that really wants to demonstrate that while they've been unable to specify in either front or back end solely to date, that they do have the skills and the passion to slot into the Zappos team and hit the ground running? So basically, what if someone's been full stack and they haven't been specifically front end or back end, but they do want to come in and kind of hit the ground running? What would be your advice for someone with that sort of background that wants to join Zappos?
I'd say it's actually a benefit if you have something from both sides. I wouldn't say that that's a negative. If you haven't specialized in either, all you really need to do to kind of impress us or get our attention is show that you have a desire to be the best you can on whichever side you land. And what I found is the borders between front and back end have been muddying for a long time. If you're a serious front end developer, you're applying principles that previously would have just been in the realm of back end and vice versa. If you're a back end developer that can't do anything on the front end, then you're going to have some problems with the way the world works today. So that versatility is actually a plus point. So show that you aren't a jack of all trades and master of none. Show that you have this wide spread of knowledge and skill set, and that you devote time to honing both sides.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. I do apologize. My landscapers do have impeccable timing, as someone just pointed out to me. They come once every 2 weeks, but they came right now. Okay, cool. Someone says they don't have a question, Alistair, but he loves us. Thank you very much. We love our insiders, too. Yay. What is your favorite thing about interacting with people that are passionate about Zappos but not working there as of yet? What's your favorite thing about interacting with those people? Tammy wants to know. I know Tammy. Hi, Tammy. Tammy's someone who tweets us sometimes. So. And I met her at our ice cream social that we had. Okay, who wants to take this one? What's your favorite thing about interacting with insiders that aren't yet working for Zappos yet? Althea, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'd say our tweet chats that we have every other Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time are a great way for us recruiters and then other people in the company that come and join our tweet chats, an opportunity to get to know them, to share a little bit about what we do here at Zappos. And as a recruiter, we like to get to know these people to see if maybe we don't hit maybe someday and they're top of mind as an insider. So it's a great way to get to know us and vice versa. And so I'd say the tweet chats are really fun.
And then I think just in general, talking to anybody outside of, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, it got all wonky on me. I think talking to anybody outside of Zappos about Zappos, for me, I like it because it kind of reminds me of everything I like. If I had a hard day or a hard meeting or something like that, talking out loud about the things I really like about Zappos, it just reignites my own passion and makes me remember that, this overall, you may have a bad hour or a bad day or maybe a bad week here and there, but it is the right place for me. And I think talking out loud about it with people outside of the company or explaining what I do and who I work with, it just reminds me and kind of reignites passion about pushing on certain things I may not have been pushing on, or so.
Fabulous, good. Yeah, we try to have as much interaction as we can with our insiders or our fans or people who might want to work for the company one day. We do the tweet chats. We do a monthly webinar online where we do career talks and job search advice and networking tips. We do some live events. We're doing all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, we love interacting with our insiders, and hopefully they won't be insiders for long, and they'll be truly on the inside as employees. So that's all good stuff. The next question is from Jesse. He said he's a college guy, and he loves working with technology and how things work, but he doesn't necessarily like coding or development. Is there a field in tech that he could go into? Or maybe there's another home within Zappos that might be a fit for a tech lover that isn't necessarily a coder or a developer. Any advice for Jesse?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ron.
I just really love stepping on people's toes. But I'm probably going to say a lot of what like Susan is saying now. Like it's really great if someone can come in and like they have an interest in technology and they have like a good level of understanding about different technologies that maybe a developer would be using to like implement a website or a solution for a problem. So if you can come in and like my team, we analyze the data that all of the systems that our created generate. So we help to contribute back to the business and back to the development teams. And so if you have an interest in what they're doing and you can talk to them and you can be open and genuinely interested in what they're doing, then you can help add value to what they're doing by being involved in like looking at what make something that they're trying to do better, right? So there's always a room for other people that think differently. If you just have a giant group of people that all think the exact same and only want to work on one thing alone, then you're going to have a really singular approach, and it's not really going to apply to probably an end customer base like Zappos has to worry about making happy. So.
And I think for me, one thing is there's a ton of roles, I think, outside of development in a technology area. Really, it's about if you have a passion for problem solving, that's the one thing I think that's standard in most technology roles at Zappos is you need to have that passion for problem solving and working through the issues that you uncover. And my computer might die, so I apologize.
I think all of ours.
I just plugged mine in. Yeah.
I think one other thing I'd suggest for, I'm terrible with names, sorry, I've forgotten the name of the asker, but if you're still in college, there's a lot of you go here and you develop now, or you don't develop, so therefore you're not going to do technology. It's very black and white a lot of times. There are a lot of additional roles in technology that you would probably enjoy looking into. Product management would be a good fit for what you're talking about, I think, and also user experience as well. So you're not actually developing the end solution, but you're coming up with prototypes and speaking with real customers and working out what would help them achieve their goals and that sort of thing. So it's two kind of disciplines to look into that don't get as much coverage as the engineering does back when you're in college.
Fabulous. Well, oops, I've got an echo now. Hopefully, okay, it's gone again. Yay. We're a little bit over on time. We're a minute past. We're going to end it with one last question. Sharif, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, wants to know he wants to know how someone who graduates this year from college can go about finding a job at Zappos. And we actually, Althea might be able to speak to this better than I. We actually have a period where a lot of our folks can apply for internship positions. If you're actually going to be graduating, though, I believe it would have to go entry level. Is that right, Althea? Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. If Sharif is graduating in December, it would be considered you want to look for those entry-level roles, and feel free if you have 1 to 2 years of experience, or it says that on the job description for those roles as well, or reach out, because I'm sure you've had some internships and experience under your belt that could very much transfer for that. If you are graduating in May in 2015, you would qualify for a summer internship, and you can join our insider program under internships, and we do have a spring window opening to be considered for an internship next summer.
Fabulous. And just because you don't see a position posted today doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a position open tomorrow or a month from now or 6 months from now or whenever you do graduate. So I would say absolutely become a Zappos Insider. Go to jobs.zappos.com, sign up to be a Zappos Insider, and that way when a position does become available, we'll be able to reach out to you and ping you. And so that's the best part of it. A Zappos Insider is somebody who wants to work for Zappos today, tomorrow, next month, next year. 5 years from now. I've had my eye on Zappos probably 5 years or so before I finally was hired here. So sometimes it's the long game. So hang in there. It's worth the wait. I can tell you this is the best job, best company, best team I've ever worked with in my entire career. And I calculated it up yesterday. I've now been working, I'm embarrassed to admit it, 27 years I've been working now since 20 hours a week or more for 27 years, and this one is by far the best. So anyway, thank you so much, Sharif, and thank you all of us for joining us. If you ever have any questions, feel free to tweet us. We're at Inside Zappos on Twitter. We're on Facebook at Inside Zappos. Use the hashtag. We're all here. We do our tweet chats every other Thursday at 10. The next one is this coming Thursday, a week from today. Please join us, ask any questions. We're an open book, and we just want to tell you how great it is here and how much we love it. And hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Nice to meet everybody and a little better, and we'll see you at the next one. Oh, gosh, Susan's in the dark.
Lights out for Susan.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.